Donald Trump owes over $450 million to New York State. This comes after a judge found the former president and his companies liable for years of fraud. The New York Attorney General's office, whose bill grows with interest each day, took an initial step toward seizing his assets this week, filing the fraud judgment with the clerk's office in Westchester County, New York. That puts at risk Trump's Seven Springs property in Bedford. In 2014, Eric Trump gave Forbes a tour of the Westchester estate, which is now in jeopardy of being seized. Take a look.
This property was originally built in 1919 by Eugene Myers. Obviously, Eugene Myers was on the board of the Federal Reserve. He owned the Washington Post. He was one of the wealthiest people in the world at the time, and really, he wanted to have the most opulent house in the world, and it's really what he created here.
And how did your family end up with the property? What's the story?
Well, the story was that after the Myers had the family, they gave it to Yale University in trust. Yale University transferred it over to Rockefeller University, and we actually bought the property off of Rockefeller University. So, one of the things my father has been amazing at is buying incredible houses, really, one of a kind and unparalleled. The level of wealth of those people, who built those houses was second to none, and they really spared no expense, and he always went after those properties. They were always very lucky to him. They always attracted him as a builder. He was always mesmerized by them.
And how much time did you spend here growing up?
Well, we first bought the property in 96. I was about 12, 13 years old at the time, and really my brother and I, and my father during the summers would always put us to work, and we were literally riding mowers around. We were mowing all the fields, we were cutting down trees, and it was probably the best experience of my life in that it was kind of the first lessons about development from my father. It really kind of taught me the building blocks of what we do every single day, what my job is today.
How many rooms is this place? How many square feet? How many pools?
Well, there's 3 pools, great outdoor pool house, but there's 60 rooms in this house. There's 15 bedrooms. There's 2 servants' quarters, literally wings that go off the house that they originally built. The library that we're in right now, as a guy who builds for a living, the casework, the trim, the molding, the plaster molding, the ceilings, etc. Just the level of finish. I could walk around the house for, days and just be enamored almost by the details. If you look at the indoor pool, there is no nicer marble job in the world. Even the heating vents are recessed under 3 inches of marble with small little slits cut out of them to allow the heat through it. Just a level of detail that you can never replicate again. Every room in this property, every room in this house is exceptional. He had an unlimited budget. There's probably no question that he exceeded it. You could never build a house like this today. But when you walk through, just the details you pick up, it's a very special place.
Eric, tell us about these fabulous grounds.
Well, one of the things that makes this property so unique, really one of a kind, is 230 acres in Bedford, New York. There's no piece of land in Westchester, government or otherwise, that's even close to that size. We're one of the highest points in Westchester. We are the highest house in Westchester. That's Byram Lake. It's one of the major reservoirs that feed all of Westchester, but also feeds a lot of New York City. It's surrounded by 1,000 acres of wildlife preserve, so you're as excluded as you could possibly be.
This isn't the only mansion on this 230 acres. Tell us what else is here.
We're at the Myers residence right now, and then on the other side of the property is the H.J. Heinz Ketcha. Him and Myers, they were very good friends. They wanted to live right next to each other, so they built houses really at the same time. 2 amazing entrepreneurs, 2 amazing families that really changed in a big way the legacy of the United States, of corporate America. And when the property was combined and ultimately given to Yale University, it was one property. It went over as one property.
And you're building, right, on part of that 230, or is that outside of the 230?
Well, in true Trump fashion, we're always building. We're always renovating, and this house is something that's very special to us. So we put a lot of time and a lot of work into making it the best. It always was the best, and then we've really put the Trump touch on it. And we have approvals to build 14 houses. Whether we actually build those 14 houses is another story. But they'll each be on roughly 20 acres of land. They'd be the biggest mansions really in Westchester, and we'll see when and how and if we ultimately proceed with that plan.
Would that mean an end, though, to your private 230-acre compound that you cherished since you were a little boy?
Well, it could, but who knows whether we'll do it and when we'll do it, and it's nice to have the ability to do things, but this is a place that's really special to myself, it's really special to my brother, my father, really the whole family. I mean, this is really our compound, and I've spent so much of my life here, and I've spent so much time learning the art of, the deal here on this property, and it's a special place for me, and one that I'll always remember, and one that I'll always be very close to.